Today we're gonna get down and low with it. In the last lesson, Strengthening the Head Voice, I mentioned that you can ask yourself 3 questions to check if you're using the right approach or the right techniques when it comes to getting that sound that you want. And it's the same when it comes to strengthening the chest voice. You could ask yourself those 3 questions as well. And that is, are you practicing good vocal fundamentals? Are you using the right vocal register? And are you using the right vocal gear? Now, I assume that your vocal fundamentals are solid, but if for some reason you feel like you have kind of lost touch with some of the vocal fundamentals, what you can do is just go back and revisit that lesson and then come back here again. But as I've said, I assume that your vocal fundamentals are solid, so we'll move on to the next 2 questions. Are you using the right vocal register? To sing in the chest voice or even to strengthen the chest voice means you gotta start by engaging in the right register first, and that is of course the chest register. When speaking or singing in our chest register, most of the time our voices feel like it's sitting at its lowest resonance area, and that is around the chest area, or sometimes to a certain degree up to here, depending on how high the notes are in our lowest register. Do know that the feeling or the sensation of when we're singing in our chest register will vary from one person to another. So the most important thing you've got to know is that when you're singing in your chest register, you should just feel like it's sitting at your lowest resonance area. And usually when singing in the chest voice as well, you would feel like that voice is your heaviest and most solid sounding voice. And that's why a lot of people like to refer to the chest voice or the chest register as the full voice. Now, what about the vocal gear that you're using? The good news is, all vocal gears can work in the chest register. But of course, some work better than the rest. Now, what would be the right vocal gear to use? It really depends on how loud or how strong you want to sing in your chest voice. Frost is a soft gear as we know it, so only if you want to sing softly in your chest register would you want to be engaged in frost. Belt is a piercingly loud gear, however it doesn't work very well in our low notes. It can sound quite nasally and, to some people, annoying. So that leaves us with cry and anchor. Cry is a medium loud sort of volume, so if that's the sort of volume you're aiming for, then cry would be the perfect gear to engage in. And anchor, of course, is the loudest gear you can use when it comes to singing in your chest voice. So have a think about how loud or how powerful you want to sing your chest voice first. And coming up next, we'll work on some exercises to help you achieve that sound you want in your chest voice. First thing we're going to do is to make sure we're using the chest register. It is a common belief that when we're speaking in our chest register. Therefore, some people would say, you know what, if you want to sing in your chest register, just sing like you're speaking. Put the resonance of your voice in the same area, in the same register as when you're speaking and you'll be fine. But that's not entirely true, and it's not true for everyone. And that's because not everyone uses their chest voice or the chest register when it comes to speaking. For example, right now I'm speaking in my chest register, but if I speak like this, I'm basically speaking in my middle voice. And if I speak like this, I'm speaking in my head voice. And you'll find that there are people who just speak in different vocal registers. So saying that you can engage or sing in your chest register simply by following the same register you use in speaking is not quite accurate. A better way to know if you're engaged in your chest register is to simply focus on the sensation or the feeling you have when you're singing or speaking, gauge and judge for yourself if that voice or that register you're using is sitting at your lowest resonance area. You'll get a better feel as we try these exercises now. So let's start around here. Say this with me. Hey! This is quite high for a chest register note, but that's because we're going to go lower and lower. So I'm starting it at this note. To get yourself rolling in your chest register, you might want to think of using the manliest voice you've got. Like when you say things like, hey, hey, not hey, but hey. Think rough, think manly. Or you can think of it as yelling rather than screaming when you're getting louder in your chest register. So just imagine you're on the streets and somebody jumps on you with a knife. Instead of going, ah, you go like, hey, step back, or hey, back off. It's a masculine, grounded sound in your voice that we're aiming for. So try this with me again. Hey, hey, hey. Alright, we'll try it with the scale right now. Hey, hey. Repeat after me. Hey. Again. Hey. So you should feel the resonance mostly around here to here. And the voice should feel quite heavy and solid rather than light. The opposite of head voice. If you're still finding it hard to engage in your chest register, try this. A low sigh. And try this with the note. You go. 1, 2, 3, go. One more time. So you realize right now, as I'm getting you into that chest voice, we're using things like hey and ha, basically using the vowels of which we use when we're engaged in anchor and cry. So as I've said earlier, it really depends on how loud you want to go in your chest voice, but you can practice on these vowels and see which sound you prefer. So we're going to start with hey first, practicing anchor in our low register. So try this with me. Hey! 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 You go. That's it. Keep at it. Hey! Hey! Keep going. Hey! 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 Alright, so that's for when we're aiming for a loud, chesty sound. Now, if you want to go for a medium loud sound, not too loud, just solid enough, then you'll probably want to practice the same scale in the vocal gear cry. And we can do that by changing the vowels a little bit. We'll do it on ha instead of hey. So something like this. So you can hear the change of volume as compared to earlier. Earlier was hey, hey, very loud. Now it's medium loud. Here we go. Keep going. So if you're not quite sure if you're engaged in cry or anchor, a good way to separate the two would be the feeling, like you're holding your breath when you're singing in cry, and a more shouty sound when you're singing in anchor. So do both exercises, get familiar with both gears in your chest register, and later on you can decide to use whichever gear you prefer to get that sound you want in your chest voice. And now we're going to do an exercise that can help you strengthen your control over your chest voice. We're going to hold the note, sustain the note, and basically play around with the dynamics of our voice within that one note. So we're going to sing that one note soft to loud and then back to soft, practicing our control in changing the gears within that note. And basically, from a technical point of view, what we're doing is we're switching from frost to cry to anchor and then back the other way around. So this is how it goes. We'll do this. Like that. Alright, and then we'll go lower and lower and lower Try to maintain your control over that by focusing on how it feels like when you change from one gear to the other. Frost, as we know, feels like a light gear, like you're yawning into it softly. Cry feels like a hold, and anchor feels heavy and solid. Or in other words, sort of like a little yell. But at no point does it feel like you're straining. Not unless you're pushing it to where it's not supposed to go. But we're not going to get there anyway. We're going to do this exercise only in our low register. So here we go. And go. Go ahead. Keep going. Now, when you get to your really low parts, sometimes you might feel like your voice is going to your vocal fry mode when it gets soft, like that, which is normal. So don't worry too much about it. The idea is just to practice your flexibility in changing gears within your low register. So you can see this exercise is really simple, it's short. Just find the time to do it and try to get your transitions or your switching of gears as smooth as possible, and you'll be on your way to having better control in your chest voice. Alright, that about sums it all up when it comes to strengthening the chest voice. So let's move on to the next thing, troubleshooting.